Hi, I'm Oluwatobi. Live in London, born and bred in Nigeria. I support Chelsea. I love football. I'm a child of God, and we're here for the interview with Pastor K. It's really interesting. We had one on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, so so nice, and this was what it really is. It was our first time of doing like a interview like that. It was very amazing. Myself and my wife, we really had a very good time, and we decided to do this for YouTube. Hopefully, it goes really well.
My name is Abiola. My friends call me BB. That's for short. I was born and bred in Ibadan. I came to the UK when I was 11. I'm a business analyst by profession. I also work in the financial industry. I love traveling. I love singing, even though my voice is not so great. But hey, make joyful melodies to the Lord. So I met my husband last October. My first Pastor Kingsley conference, Love Dating Seminar in East London. And 4 months ago, we married. So here we are to tell our story. Hope you enjoy it. Okay.
So, how did you guys meet?
Do you want to go first?
Okay, and so on the Saturday, I planned my journey and I was right on time. I The place was about 10-minute walk from the underground station, so Stratford Underground Station. When I got there, I was on my way walking there, and a lady stopped me, was trying to evangelize to me, so I stopped to listen to her. And by the time I finished, it made me a little bit late, like maybe about 5 minutes late. So walking frantically towards using my Google Map. So I realized that it was taking me to reach that looked like office buildings and skyscrapers. Yeah, so I realized that okay, they say I should, so it doesn't look like it might have looked like I've made a wrong turning. And so while I was trying to look for the place, I heard a voice behind me and say, "Oh, excuse me, are you also going to Pastor K's event, Pastor Kingsley's event?" And I said, "Oh yes." And it was Toby, the man happened to be Toby, and then he said, there's also Google Map was also showing him the place I am, so which is the wrong direction. So I said, okay, I believe the place is not really far, looking at the postcode, it's not really far from where we are. So we try and find it ourselves. So we literally find it within 2 minutes, we're literally not too far away from there. And we went in. The ushers were so friendly, welcoming. They asked us if we're together, if they know separate. So we gave them our name for the registration. They gave us a wristband. Walked inside. When we went in, the ushers were like, "Oh, our ushers are like, oh, two for two seats." So there were two seats on the left row, like third row, sorry, the left column. And so I sat down, and when I sat down, I did a seat next to me. I thought, oh, but I was thinking, okay, maybe you came there or somebody, or I don't know. I just sat down and literally, I just did it because we spoke outside. We came in together. The office kind of pointed at the seats for us to get up, pointed us next to me. But I didn't want that to distract me. I just literally focused on the word of God. And after the service, I packed my bag, went to the restroom, came out, bought 2 books, bought even one for a friend of mine. So I bought 2 A to Z and Chayo by Pastor Midred, and got a sign, took pictures. Then that's it, and then the rest later.
For me, as I said, I spoke to a friend. I was like, hey, let's go to this place on Saturday. I was like, fine. So when I called him that day, the guy was like, no, he didn't pick up. Actually, the guy did not pick up. So I was like, okay, fine. Let me just see what's up. I decided to go myself. So I normally drive. And that part of London, my auntie lives there. So I was thinking, let me just drive there after the event. It's on Saturday as well. I'll just say hello to them because I don't really get time to go and see them often as I would like to. So I was like, let me drive. So I was on my way driving. So I go to the station because normally my route would take me past the train station. It's like, let me park. So I parked. I took the train. So I took the train, changing Canada water and everything. So Stratford. So when I go to Stratford, because I'm not really familiar with that area, Stratford. So I put a postcode where the event is on my phone. So I was like following the Google map. So I think that's why it actually took us to the same place because we're using the same app. So I used the Google Maps. I was walking, and then it took me to like the back of the building, like a canal or something. It's like a dead end. So I got there. I saw her as well. She was taking her phone. So my head, I just like maybe she's actually going to the same events as well as me. She's like, "Oh, hello. Are you going to Pastor K's event?" And she was like, "Yeah." The Google Map took me here. I was like, "Oh, the same thing. The same thing happens to me as well. The Google Map took me here." So obviously, I was like, "Oh, just saying hi. Okay, I was there. What did you know about him?" Just a little chit chat, you know what I mean? So we managed to find the place. So as we got to the entrance, the lady was like, "Oh, fine, what's your name?" So I told her my name, and I think she did told her name as well. So she gave us a wristband. So when she was asking the other, I think they were coordinating the other lady that is inside the building. Was like, "Oh, a seat for two." So in my head, I wasn't even thinking, there's a seat for two together. I was thinking, is that seat for two people because like it was packed. It was like this for two people. So when we went in, so she was walking in front of me, so she went to that seat. So I was like, fine. So I sat down so I think two rows behind her. Yeah, 2 rows behind her. So that was it, and then preaching went on and everything. So after the teaching, so Pastor K, got some of his book dates instead of married. I got her as well, and then so he signed it for me. And then I think they signed it as well.
Yeah, signed
so he signed it for me, and then took a picture of him after and everything. So and I said to him like I would like to have like a conversation with him. So it was like fine because he was so busy on that day. And, like what I mean, he's actually had like 2 sessions as well. So I had one in the morning and that one in the evening. So I'm so tired. So it's like the next day that I should contact him, which is on the Sunday. But unfortunately, I think I was starting the training. I was starting a new job, and then we had this training like in northern parts of England. So which is gonna start the Monday. So I was meant to travel and log in from the Sunday. And so I was like, as from the Sunday, so I was like, I can't. So I was like, fine, I should contact him maybe on his Instagram or send him an email. So I got his email address and everything. And, so I looked for a little bit like, the lady I spoke to when I came in. Do you know what I mean? Like, probably just to walk in the street together. So, do you know what I mean? So it wasn't as if, oh, where's my wife that I saw when I came in or something like that. I was like,
it wasn't love at first sight.
No, it wasn't. I knew she was a nice person, but it wasn't like when I saw, I was like, oh, this is your wife and everything. No, it wasn't like that.
I was sort of looking for you or thinking, oh, just to say hello, how did you find the event?
Do you know what I mean? So just like.
I literally couldn't find you. But I think I saw, when I was taking the picture, I saw you queuing up on the line. We were talking to someone else, so I didn't want to interrupt.
Okay. So just like, just a hi thing. As I said, I believe I'm a chatty person, sometimes. I believe I'm a chatty. She's like very well, yeah, but now it's not what she does. So just to say hi, to every woman you meet, you're gonna date or marry or something. So I was like, I looked for a little bit to see if she's still in the hall, but I couldn't find her. So I was like, fine, let me leave. So I got my jacket and I walked out. I saw some ladies, by the door, and I said bye to all of them. And I saw her, but she was looking into her bag. So she couldn't see me. So I just walked out. So after I walked out, just took like 2 or 3 steps. I was like, oh, it would be so rude of me to say bye to her. So I went back. I was like, oh, hi, are you leaving? And she was like, oh yeah, she's leaving. I was like, well, let's walk together. And then she said, no, I'm taking the tube. Because I thought she was thinking that maybe I drove. And I was driving to the venue. So I was like, oh no, I didn't drive it. I'm taking the tube as well. So yeah, that was I was now able to walk from that event, that center to Stratford train station. To Stratford. So
So for me, so after the event, I got my book signed and I was at the door. It had started to drizzle a bit, so the rain was hot.
Yeah, it was very raining. Yeah.
And then so I was thinking, oh, should I take my umbrella? Should I not? And then I saw him coming towards the exit door. And I thought, okay, I really saw him. At the beginning, he didn't bother to maybe say hello to me during the event to find me. But I'm going to try and ignore, to be honest. That's what I did. So I stayed there and looked within started, going through my bag, trying to find my umbrella. Then they said bye to everybody at the door, and there was about 3 other ladies there saying, oh, bye ladies, hope you had a good time at the event. As soon as I went out, then I put my head up Then he came back in and was like, hello, are you the...
She's like, any lady that was speaking to her, came in. She's like, hey, okay, yeah, let's, let's.
So, and then it was like, are you the lady? I said, yes. And I was like, I'm leaving now. And I said, are you leaving? I said, yes. I said, I'm also leaving. I said, oh, but I'm taking train. In my mind, thinking, oh, maybe driving, because before, when I met him outside, before the event, he asked me, would you ready if I was from London or outside of London?
Oh, yeah.
And I told him, oh, I live in Southwest London. He was like, oh, okay, it's not too far from me. So I kind of had an idea, maybe he was driving to, want to give me this. I said, oh, no, I'm taking train. He said, oh. Then he replied, oh, he's also taking train, and we can we walk to the train station together? I'm just like, so like, okay, fine, let's go. And then, literally within 5 minutes of speaking to him, we got along so well. Feel like I've known him before. We bounced back. We have a lot of similarities actually in the way we think, in our visions. And we should bounce back and kept talking about what we learned, and I also think it's also impactful and powerful, and that we wish admin Pastor K earlier on, etc. So on getting to the underground station, it was still there's another train station just before the main station we're gonna get the train tube from. So it's called DLR station. So then I ran for the DLR train, and he ran with me. However, I usually have a travel card, like a yearly pass, so that you don't really have to touch in. Because especially if you're going within the zones you are, but when you touch out, you can touch out when you're leaving. But if you're doing pay as you go, you have to touch in and out. So for them to charge you the correct fare, unless we feel like maximum fare. So he ran in with me, I've been touching. So I guess usually drive. So
normally I was meant to touch in. Well, we're trying to do the show. I'm not obviously you understand the way to catch that train, on the platform before it leaves. So we ran in, so I forgot to touch in.
So then 5 minutes later, the train took us to the Stratford Underground station, and then when we got off, we're now going to get our main train. Then he turned back and was like, "Oh, they hasn't touched in," and it's like, "Oh, if you get to when you get to where you're going, Croydon, they'll charge you the maximum fare." So I've got a travel card. I can go out with my card and I touch in with your card, so you can start your journey for you. And it's like, "Oh, no, you can go. I don't want to disturb you. Oh, just give me a bag. I can keep in touch." And I was like, "No, it's fine." So I'm like, "Where's your card?" Took his card. And then he knew the Stratford really well. Went up the escalator, came back down, touch out with my touching with him. And I was like, "Here's your card." I was like, "Thank you." And then we started the journey, and then the train. It's like, "Oh, you're so mature."
So it was just that, to be honest with you, because I didn't expect that to, obviously jump out of the train at the next stop, then walk out of the train station, go out and touch back in. This for me, we've actually been like a couple of minutes or a couple of hours to go, and then So I was like, "Oh, okay."
I was 23 also on the train.
So that really got you.
Yeah, it did actually. That really, because I was just standing there, and she had to just do the walking up the, up the. I think she took the lift escalator, up, and then came down again, touched it. So I was like, okay, someone that actually met. Because me, I don't think I will, I'll be like, "Come on, come down, go and do your touching yourself. We'll see later." But she actually did that. So I actually got to me like, fine. And I thought she was, younger than she was. So I thought she was, proper younger. So we're just talking, and then I was like, "Oh, how old are you?" And she told me, I was like, "Ah." So she said I should get. So I was like, "Maybe 23, 24. I was like, no, this, that. I was like, "Oh, really?" So I couldn't. I was like, "Oh, yes." So we're just talking. She was asking me about the question she was asking, "What did you learn in the event? This and that, blah blah. What do you do? What do you see yourself?" So yes, where do you see yourself? What are your dreams? What books you read and stuff like that. So in a way, it's sort of like challenging to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's like, fine, this kind of person she wants, or she drills the the nitty gritty of you, and what do you do? Not like, what do you do? You normally go out, do you drink? Not this kind of question. The questions were kind of like a substantial questions. So I was like, fine. So we start talking, around there and everything. She told me what she does, So I was like, "Oh, you actually don't live far from where I live, Can we, probably can I just, one of these when you're less busy, can we just, catch up or something?" Like, no. She's busy, this and that, she's going to church. Like, literally, like.
You said money fair. You're like, "I like you."
Yeah, she's like, I was like, "Well, I like you, And then, because of that little act, in my mind, there was a point actually for maybe she was single. So maybe, not my single. If a guy, when you meet a lady, normally you're like, I have a boyfriend. Next thing I have a boyfriend, Well, that was service. I was thinking she was single, like proper single. So, but she was like, oh no, she is not single.
I was, but I told you I wasn't.
Yeah, like she wasn't single and stuff like that. And then you can tell she wasn't, in her mind, she wasn't actually looking at that point in time. She was not as if she wanted, she was looking like for a boyfriend or something. I think she just did that because that's the kind of person, to be honest with you. So yeah, so I was like, okay, can I just exchange numbers? She was like, okay, yeah, but you could text me, blah, I'm always busy, I go to church and this and that, fucking not well like that. If I call you and you didn't pick up, I'll drop you a message or something. So yeah, that was so we talked up until where our train is gonna depart. Do you know what I mean? So we stop at the station, I would say we're talking. I think our train was going. Yeah, train was going to come.
Train would so we changed once, and then but the train that we were on, the second train we were on, was actually going to your destination.
Okay.
And mine was coming in 20 minutes time, and then he got off the train with me and said, "Oh, you can go." And I said, "No, he would wait for me."
Yes,
so to talk to me, and then we're speaking. They're like, "Oh, can I have your number?" I think.
Yeah.
And I said, but before then I said, "Oh, I like you."
I said, yeah.
He said, like, "Oh, money fair," and I said, and I ignored that because I was like, for that year, because it was talking and just quickly slipped it in. And then it was like, "Did you know what I said?" And I said, "What did you say?" And he said it again. He said, "Oh, money fair," which is I like you. And I said, "Oh, you're a bit forward." To which he replied, "Well, in the seminar we just left, well, Pastor Kingsley, because in the seminar, Pastor Kingsley was saying, if a man is serious and focused, we
divine,
it would not waste time. It would go straight to the point, and it would, be very vocal about what he wants. Like there will be no ambiguity about his intentions." So I was like, so when he said, I was like, oh, then I felt back like, at the event, and yeah, so. I said, "Oh, I'll give you my number on one condition. We'll be as friends. Don't disturb me too much." I said, "Oh, that's fine." So I got on the train, went home, and then when I got on, I spoke to my friend. So the friend that I bought one of the books for, I went to her house before going to mine, and I gave her the book. And I told her, "Oh, the event was really good." She's married with 2 kids at the time, 2 boys. That I met a guy, and she's like, "Oh, Biola, give him a chance." I was like, And she was like, "If you ignored this guy from like a good guy, even for a guy," and I remember thinking to myself, even at the events like that, 70% to 80% will be women. A lot of young guys, even though they like to, if they're even serious about getting knowledge, they wouldn't want to maybe do it in public or try and become like a man. I don't know. Just that's what I think anyway. To do my reports, but they will watch the videos in house, indoors, and so not a lot of guys were there. So for him to be there, I thought to myself that this guy is accountable and is teachable. Those were the 2 things that stood out for me. So she's like, "Oh, give him a chance. I don't want to every year to be for you to be on my prayer list, to be praying for you to be married. I have 3 people on the list, and I'm praying that God will do it for all of you." And so, and then I got and I spoke to my mentor that I met somebody, and then actually I didn't tell. I told her 2 days later, I think on the Tuesday. But I told my flatmate, and then so on the Sunday, so that was Saturday, and the Sunday he called me for 2 hours, 45 minutes. We're like giggling, laughing. Literally, we have the same side also, exchanging business ideas. Literally, yeah. He was just literally like, "Oh, this was so simple." Even our phone is the same, and our phone's like, "No, come on." So no, Korean phone.
Yes, we had a lot.
Literally, and we're just really we had a lot in common, and I remember telling my flight after them, was like, "Oh, and there's a guy," and they told me, "Oh, why would you speak to someone for 2 hours and 45 minutes if you tell him that you're in a relationship? He's not going to take it seriously." And that's exactly what my mentor said. So that was a Sunday. So he told me he was traveling up north on the Sunday. He called me on the Monday after the training starts. Monday evening, he calls me. I didn't pick up. My phone rang twice. Tuesday, the same thing. I didn't pick up. And then Tuesday night, I text him saying, "Oh, hi, Toby. So you missed call. Oh, sorry, I've been busy." He realized I was trying to avoid him because I wasn't picking up his phone calls. But a few days later, my dad passed away, and it was passed on a Thursday. So I was really broken, and then I remember I just changing my WhatsApp picture to like a dark background and saying like it's the worst of my life and my status. And he messaged me saying, "Is everything okay?" Then I told him that my dad had passed away, and it was very compassionate. Like, he didn't call straight away, but would text me the next day. Oh, how are you going? Like every day after that, just checking up on me. You okay? And in my head, I was thinking, oh, my ex didn't even really bother to care, to be honest, or she didn't show compassion. And he said he wanted to take me out for lunch, or was it lunch? He went to NSU. So he had to take me out just, so I think 2 or 3 weeks later. Just trying to encourage me, trying to make me happy and just have jokes, cheer me up. And so on that day, then I showed the messages like from my previous relationship, and I was like, oh really? Like, in the relationship, so why did you lie to me? And I said, oh, you've broken a vows, praying to God for God to work a miracle, or just things to fall back in place. And like no, that I didn't have to marry him, but this guy's not for clearly not for me.
Because at the beginning we had that friendship, I could just talk to her. And she said, first time I spoke to her was like for a long conversation. And I called her after, she wasn't picking. Because then I wasn't even in London, I was somewhere in Manchester. So up north. So I called her the day after, she was not picking. 2 days after, 3 days after, she was not picking. Normally, I'll just be like, oh, I consider to do this girl now. Just probably delete her number or something. So I just left the number there. I left it there, and then I think it was a week after then my dad passed away. So I just saw on a WhatsApp status that, this is the worst in my life. And she was so down and everything. She was like, oh. So I messaged her saying, oh, up your, my condolences. I'm sorry, but, your dad passing away, just take heart and that, everything will be fine. So I don't think she responded immediately, and I think after she's okay, thank you. But so anytime after my training, then I'll just message her, okay, I hope you're well, hope you're fine. So then I think she started responding, she was responding 1 or 2 lines, and I'm fine, this and that, today's a better day, blah blah, profess the word of God. So I was like, fine, whenever I'm back to London, I think it would be nice for for her to just because I know she said she's been at home, she's not going out and this and that. So
I wasn't even eating at the point.
Yeah, she wasn't even eating at that point. So I was like, fine, don't worry. When I come back to London, what do you like? What would you like to, what kind of food are you eating and stuff like that? Okay, whenever I'm back in London, I'll take you out to. So I think I told her the Princess Child, they do some nice grilled fish or something. She was like, fancy that, no. So when I came back, I'll start talking again. So I think, I told her the day. I was like, fine. I think it was on Friday. I'll come and pick you up, and then we can just go. So I met her up, and then we went there. So start talking. I was saying, why did you stop picking my calls? First time she was like, yeah, she doesn't feel like it's right. The Bible says the only thing she's actually the Bible says it's right. So I was like, okay, no, well, that's how you feel. Do you understand? So I think that actually helps. Because I wasn't like pushing it to I think that actually helps in the beginning. So that's why I said it wasn't as if when I saw her, I was like, oh, this is my wife. Because that would have been like, oh, but I have this vision of my wife. You should. I
was going to ask you a question. Were you not in a relationship? How come you were free? That's free.
At that point in time, I wasn't seeing anyone.
Okay.
Because I had my previous relationship before, but at top of that, I was kind of single. Yeah, it was like months before that. So I was single at that point in time. So I wasn't
focusing on your work.
I was just focusing on myself. As I was reading books, I would listen to the Jakes. I would listen to some Miles Morrow, messages on YouTube. So I was just like
But you did say one thing. I'll say you did say in January early last year.
Oh yeah,
you knelt down before God.
So there's this friend of mine, an old friend of mine. The guy is it's not even like a Christian or anything like that. But the guy he has principles. So that's one thing I respect about me. He's a businessman, so he has principles. So they only say, okay, fine. So we got married, I think, 2 years before. I think 2018, 2 years prior to when I met my wife. So he said, so I was just saying, bro, it's like, anytime he needs anything, like, he would just kneel down before God and say, God, I beg. I don't say I don't be good picking, but God, this is what I need. Please, just And one thing about him is, even though he wasn't like an unbeliever, yeah, he understands the principle of God. He's a very good giver. And that's one thing I noticed in my wife as well. That guy, when the time is broke, he'll say, don't worry, the money will come. He will give. So you understand those little principles. And those are the things I pick from him. Do you understand? So if he's broke, he'll be like, fine, you know what? I need this money, man. He will give. It will give that actually. It will feel like when you give there's some money you give, like you just give it for the giving sake. But we give that actually in his own pocket. We feel like okay, fine, I'm giving something, and then lo and behold, the week whenever I need to go, will come true for him. So it was like wow. When he was being older than me, I was like, when he was ready to get married, he knelt down before God and said, God, please, I beg, this year I'm done playing around. I need a wife, God. And God answered him. He had it, met his wife. So I did the same thing. January, I was like, God, I beg, just give me a wife. We're going to understand me, this and that. I'm not that bad. I said, please, God, just
That.
So I was like, I want a wife, someone who understand the scripture, who's gonna understand life, see we have different perspective about how life should be, and then we can actually go on this journey together. So that's what I asked God.
And you couldn't afford to get around.
So I was like, what was you say?
You said you couldn't afford to get around.
Yes, that's one thing I couldn't afford to get around. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I've done it. I was like, God, this marriage is one thing I can't afford. To get around, because you're gonna be raising generations after generations. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I did. New Year, I think I crossover night that year before 2019. So yeah, so after my birthday was February, obviously, I was like, God, I know you're gonna do this thing. So I had friends and family around, went out with, went for, I think a year, went to eat somewhere. And yeah, so moving forward to when I met Abiola now. So as I said, it wasn't as if, because one thing is, I knew, even if we're not dating, we can get a lot from each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing actually, we can get a lot, she can, we have a lot of things that we can get from it, we bounce back each other, like, we have things to talk about. Even till now, we have things to talk about, even in the house, we still talk about some things like we're a friend and everything like that. So, there's a lot of things we can discuss about. So it wasn't as if like generic or, what you did this weekend, let's go out, no, we have a lot of things to talk about and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, I knew if we didn't get married, we'd still be friends.
Yes.
Yeah, we'd still be, talking, hey, what's up now, what's happening with you? So when she was, because at first when I got her number, she was like, she was seeing someone. So, even me checking up, that's why after the first call, and she didn't pick up, I just like, fine, maybe, but our boyfriend doesn't like her, stuff like that. So I wasn't like really pushing it, do you know what I mean?
And then when you discovered at the restaurant, that wasn't really the relationship.
Yeah, so after that passed away, so then we went out for that lunch. So she was not obviously, so I was like, when did you stop picking my calls for maybe your boyfriend doesn't want to? So that's why actually, because she see that friendship in me, that's why she actually started opening up to me and say, she's praying about it, this guy's behaving so way. I actually don't think it was the fault that I should be the message. It's just like the guy being this. I was like, to me, as a guy, this guy not this serious. But if you say you still want to be praying, oh well and good now. I'm not gonna like be on to push away. I was like, out of the relationship, if you still feel like, you still want to pray about it.
Oh, please give me a chance.
So I was like, just give me a chance. But you keep saying no. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, fine. If you're not gonna date me, oh well, there's no problem. But as a friend, all I'm saying to you is this guy is not serious about you. Do you understand? So it's like, fine, but if you're not going to date me, I like your personality. And I like the kind of person you are. Oh. Do you have any single friend around you? Do you know what I mean?
I suggested it.
No, actually, she suggested that she has a lot of single friends.
That really like you, and I want to keep you my company or in circle for life. Like I could see, and I have loads of single friends. So I said, would you mind if I try and link him up?
Yeah,
it's like as long as the person is like you, similar to you, nobody's. I'm unique. Everybody's unique in their own way. Looking back in the way, so I told him to send me some pictures, and then he sent pictures wearing face. No. You have any picture you do wearing shirts, and look very formal and serious guy, like a mature man, and not just
Yeah, I always say she's like
so then
yeah, she does. But why are you always so hairstyle like this? Your beard is. I was like, come on, what are you mommy to? Or what are you? So yeah, she said that she searched for to send her some pictures. So yeah, she's just like, oh, fine, even though we're not gonna date, I can introduce to any of my friend. If it works out, they're single as well. If it works out, it works out. You know what I mean? I'll be glad. So I was like, okay, no problem.
Which
But
I did.
it's fine. Which and she's like, oh, I should send her pictures and everything. Alright. So she was like, oh, I should send this. So I should send her some of my pictures to show her friends. So I sent some pictures. She was like, oh no, the way you're dressed in this picture, you can't be wearing hoodie, you can't be wearing this thing, you need to look. I was like, okay. So I go to my archives, the one picture that I took like that one of my friends' wedding. So I sent a picture. I was wearing this suit and everything. Yeah. So I sent her that picture. I was like, oh yeah, this one looks a bit okay. So I don't know what she did on her hand. I think you sent.
Yeah, so I sent the picture to my friend, and then she asked me to call us a few days later. I was free, then I called her and I was like, oh, this guy. So I was, try and advertise Toby to her. She was Toby's a great guy. Can't Toby's a Christian. He works in church. He's part of the ministry in the church. Local church. And then she was like, Abiola, but you're single. I said yes. Like, She was like, why don't you date him if he's so good? You speak so highly of him. And I said, oh. And I got taken back by that. And then I was like, and also he's AS. And that's when she stopped me. She was like, no, you can't work with Abiola. And I said, why? She said, oh, because she's also AS. I was like,
yeah, that's it. Because I always say, when at the point in the conversation, I was like, okay, I think she asked her, why have I been single?
Yeah, for so long.
Why have I not honest? Are you a good guy? Why you say? I was like, the ladies I've met in the past were AS. So I'm AS as well. So just to this day and age, you need to be aware of those things. So I was like, AS. She was like, okay, she's gonna send a picture of me to her friend, but she doesn't know if her friend is AS or anything like that. So, and I think from our relationship, the kind of relationship whereby everybody knows like you are single, but you yourself I don't know, maybe traditional we pray about it, it's gonna work. So I think everybody, I have close friends know, and these guys, not sure about he has other agendas or other things. So because but she's still thinking, I'm gonna pray it out, if it's gonna work out, blah blah. So but I wasn't pushing her and say, this guy, I'll just say to her, as a friend, I do not think this guy actually, have your best intention in heart. That's what I'm going to say to you. I'm not saying this to you just for you to date me or anything like that, or for you to be my girlfriend. But that's the way I see it, this whole thing. But so during that time, she was trying to sell me and introduce me to her friend. So unfortunately, or fortunately for us, the friend was AS as well.
And
so
then
I was like, no, I can't marry an AS. That's one thing I wouldn't. I wouldn't do.
And then Toby asked me, just please pray about me, pray about. So I said I'll pray about it, and I'll give him his answer in December. So I'll have it like a month to pray, and then even within that month, he'll come around. You didn't know my house, but you come to my area. Yeah, so he'll pick me up, but I told him like doing the second street, or I'll be on the main road. And then went to cinema together, and I was like, what's wrong? Like, usually when he drops me off, usually when people drop somebody off, they'll wait for him to enter the house. But then he wouldn't see me go. I'm like, no, girl, it's fine. Like, where'd you live? Different time I'm freaking like, what's wrong with this girl? And I was like, no, it's fine. I don't really, guys to where I live, to be honest, at the time. When I was when she told my friend was there. So I said to her, you see, this is a sign of steady, we went to each other. So she's like, okay, you know what? She's going to pray about it. So she prayed about it for she prayed about it for I think, a couple of 2 weeks. The month,
she prayed about it for a month before she said yes. So, but during that time, I'm like, what are you doing? Do you want to go see this movie? I'll come around. But she wouldn't tell me where she lives. She just said, just stop on this road and I'll be there. I said, no, voila. So these are the things I would say.
And even
they actually helped. They actually helped because normally, as an Nigerian guy, if I'm asking you out and you start showing, I'm like, listen, this one there, let me just. But just the friendship was there. Do you understand? So it wasn't like a serious, like the friendship was there, so we could talk. So I was like, okay, when she said, "Oh, drop," I said, "That's what you want." No, well, okay, I'll drop you there. And when I said, "Okay, what are you doing this evening? You free? Let's go see this movie in the cinema." She was like, "Oh yeah, pick me up here." I'm like, okay, fine. Because it was like one day I was trying to know where you live now. She was like, yeah. So we kind of have that kind of just jovial relationship between me and her. So
Even when you drop me within the car speaking for 2 hours before.
yeah, even in the
okay,
car we
it's been like,
talk about things. Also, it was sometimes we would talk. We would kind of like debates from relationship or anything. We just talk about other things like for for 2 hours, couple of minutes and everything. And I'll be like, I hope you've not forgotten. I'm still asking you out.
Yeah, you used to say that,
I just like I hope you still pray the back. So we can just call forget to have me here for things like that. You should be like,
I'm
like,
praying about it, yeah.
Like,
And I'll let you know when God tells me.
So yeah, but during that time, we were, we're talking and everything, and so the pressure was not. I wasn't like saying, God has come to me again, So we're just talking. So we kind of built our relationship from the beginning, that friendship from the onset. And then when she said yes, and then so kind of like just go from there and everything. And then when she said yes, I think a couple of months after, our mom lives in North of England, Manchester. So we went just to say hello to our mom. And then, that was it. I went to say hello to our mom, and then she met me.
So, during Christmas,
What's the New Year?
next Christmas, we went, so the weekend of Christmas, we drove to Manchester. So he just met my mom and I think one of my cousins. And it was straight, and they're so happy. That was the first time bringing a Yoruba guy home, to be honest. So the mom was super happy. Started speaking Yoruba. They gelled instantly, started talking on the side, even me making jokes about me. So then in January was my mom's birthday. She did that 70th birthday party.
Yeah. So when let's go.
So I remember my mom was like, you need to. We had actually a big, so she gave me 2 caps. Gave to him, so he came, dressing on the day, as the future in-law, prospective in-law, prospective son-in-law.
So yeah, we went there. I met her
at the party. You met literally all my family.
Yeah, so my family member, everybody
in the UK,
around.
and everybody liked him. So that was the second time, and then it was his birthday in February. So he proposed to me on his birthday.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then we did the introduction. The lockdown happened, and
We planned actually the plan was to have the wedding in
September, October.
So obviously because of the lockdown and everything.
But, yeah.
So then there was a little slot that the government just said people can come out, like if you want to do wedding or anything like that. I think it was a wedding thing or something like that. So they gave them that slot. So we just used the opportunity. So
I think end of June. Yeah, so I mean, lockdown started, I believe, second week in March. So obviously churches were closed. However, we started our counseling in January actually. So we started our marriage 6 months counseling in my church, Lighthouse Chapel, also called Mustard Seed. So it started 6 months. So during the lockdown, we did before lockdown we used to do on a Sunday for 90 minutes. But during lockdown, we did 2 hours every Saturday on Zoom with our pastors. So around June, towards the end of the marriage school counseling session, Boris Johnson, our Prime Minister, announced that weddings could happen with 30 people in the church, and we're thinking this is our window because with COVID, there's been loads of analysis that during COVID weather really should stop something. If you didn't do it in the summer, by the time autumn and winter comes, it's gonna be really high. And before COVID, I've always dreamed of a semi-big wedding, being in Nigeria, you're back there, have loads of friends, have like 20.
A wedding of 500 people is like semi-big, but that was
300. But he always said that we'll bring 50 people, and I'm like 50. I was like, that's even better for me than I can have 250, 250 people. So we had paid deposits of our that we're gonna use. So the planning was underway. I should care everything. We even started ordering it, ordered it, etc. with the beads. And so when lockdown started, we couldn't really. So he was really happy that it was gonna have this low-key wedding. I was really disappointed, and then my pastor was like, I remember Toby telling me one day that I'm not interested in wedding or marriage. So if you're interested in wedding, the event, you would wait till after your dream. But if you're really interested in marriage, you would the time that is available. You follow the lead, you understand and follow the leading of the Holy Spirit. So we decided to we choose a date in July. And
actually, I spoke to my church. I spoke to my church. I spoke to them about it, and they were so supportive. RCCG, they were so supportive, and so I was like, even though my wife is not from the church or anything like that, so I spoke to my pastor, I was like, this is seasonal things. So literally, like,
Few
it
days
was
later,
like a
you
couple
made an
of like a
appointment.
week, like I think like a week before the date. So I was like, there's this slot that I would like to like for us to take because the week after, because that week was actually a part of my family because most of my family are in Nigeria. So that week was part of them. So we held it out one weekend on that week. So I spoke to them. They really like put a lot of faith to places, the 2 meter distance in the church, everything, the hand sanitizer, everything. Like they were so helpful and everything. And our church as well, where we normally do the counseling and everything, they were so helpful. They kind of like helped us through everything. They came through for us, and it was so everyone was just helping. Like it was just the grace of God.
Okay.
So when we realized I wanted to marry in in July, he went to tell his pastor, and originally because it was just 30 people, we're gonna do it in my house. So the pastor said that the church is available, you can use their church. So that was really helpful. We had an appointment with him. It was very, very nice. Pastor Kaide, thank you so much if you're watching. And Pastor Kaide and Pastor Nkajo, thank you so much. And the church, because they hadn't been open for service. We've been doing they've been doing Zoom services, so they hadn't really opened the church. So they had to like but church committee had to go there to inspect it. So then now to put some saying stuff in place, which is according to the regular law and regulations. Pull marks on the floor, the 2 meter row, one way out, another way to to come in, and then 30 people, they allowed 30 people for the event. So my family came from Manchester, and
it was just the friends and family that very close to us. They came, and then some friends came to support as well. So it's 30 people, socially distancing and everything. And it was actually the grace of God. It was good I actually did it because even till now, everything is in a lockdown. So we just feel this is the grace of God. God had a plan for everything from the onset, that the way this thing should go and everything. So in a way, she had a dream wedding of like she just wanted like to go to the altar, someone to walk on the altar.
So thank you,
and then in a way as well, I had my own this one of like having a small, not too big wedding. So we did that, and then after the service in the church, so we're blessed. Our pastor, because she's been going to our church for almost 17 years. So pastor came, which is what she actually wanted, and then my pastor as well. So it was really, really good. We were so supportive, and